The Jitsu Master and the Squid.
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 We blowed it up. I missed that jam.
It's a good jam. It's a sweet jam.
It's the jam of the century.
Shout out
It's a
to
jam of 2020. That's for damn sure.
my boy Taraz for making the beat on that.
What's up, Taraz?
Taraz killing it on that, making all these. He does cinematic scoring on movies and TV shows, so he hooked it up. Yeah.
That's pimptastic, is what that is.
And we're back with another episode of Thug Jitsu Master and Squid. Thanks, powered by the magic of Skype and Rode Technologies
And the internets.
and the internets.
We're all over the internets.
Yeah, I'm trying to get all over it more. Got a nice episode. Had some good fights last weekend. Couple good fights happening this weekend. Yeah.
So there's always stuff going on in the fight world. We've had a lot of good fights so far this year. And I expect to see the game keep elevating throughout the rest of the year.
Well, it's John Jones and Conor McGregor fighting in the same year. You don't see, we don't. I feel like we don't see that a lot.
Yeah, huh?
feel
We
like
haven't
that-
seen
I
that in a
feel like
while.
that-
I haven't seen the.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Would that be a
converge.
mega card? John Jones and Conor McGregor on the same card, and who would main event?
Who would main event? Oh, that's a tough one. I think you got to go John Jones. I think John Jones
Yeah.
got him. He's a champion. Conor ain't a champion.
Well, that's a very strong argument. I mean, I think there's a precedent has been set where they had. I feel like the UFC had a co-main event as a title once, right? Or am I just making this up?
I think Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor might have been. Was that co-main? I feel like Conor has done co-mains.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like there's been a non-title fight as a main, and I could be way off. This could just be my imagination.
That could have
I
been
can't-
Nate Diaz, Conor. I think they might have had a women's championship before them.
Right. I feel like that was the case. There was a female championship, and then there was a main event.
I want to say that's UFC 196. Yeah. So UFC 196, you had the main event of McGregor versus Diaz, and then you had Holm versus Tate before it.
See, I thought that's the thing. I'm never wrong. There are these times when I think I'm wrong, but I'm not.
That was a great night of fights too. That was a good back-to-back night of fights.
Yeah. Some good
With Misha Tate with the win with like 90 seconds left in the 5th round to beat Holly Holm, who was dominating the entire fight, methodically chopping away at Misha Tate.
Just breaking it down. But like you see that kind of sometimes where somebody dominates for a while, and we saw that. I think where John Jones may be coming to that point where a guy dominates for a while, and they're the bar, you know, and then when they get beat, the game changes. The level has to reset. Jose Aldo, he may kind of be the exception in that when he lost to Conor, then he came back, and then the next time he lost was to Max, and then Max kind of dominated for a while, and Max dominated the division for a while. But otherwise, you see people dominate for a while, like Ronda. You see, wow, no. When I think about it and I think back, like Ronda dominated for a while, and then she lost to Holly, who lost to Misha, who lost to Amanda, and then now Amanda's dominating. And then Max dominated after he got his title shot, and he held on to it after Jose lost it. GSP retired. Johnny Hendricks won it, defended it. Word.
Yeah, so you were saying about some of the guys' long runs.
Yeah, we see these guys. They are the bar, and they run. they have a long run for a while, but then usually what happens is they start winning decisions. We saw that with GSP, we saw that with Jose Aldo. John has won a couple decisions, but there's been some fights in there where he goes and dominates and cements or finishes a guy. Um, who else is there? Who else is there that we saw some decisions from? Go back to think of Matt Hughes' run, but it's either somebody comes in and becomes the bar or everything gets reset. And I feel like John Jones is getting close to that point. And that's not a knock on John. I mean, he's been dominant for 10 years.
Yep.
That's a long time in combat sports. And I don't necessarily think that there are many guys that can beat him. I think we saw Dominic Reyes he really put on a great performance. I see the argument. I scored it for Reyes, but I accept the argument.
I scored for John, but it was razor thin. Razor thin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Really, really close fight. But we've seen John in a competitive fight against Gustafsson.
Yeah.
And then he came back and just dominated. Now, Gustafsson has a similar build. So is there a difference? Because he, there was a story that he didn't really take that fight seriously. He didn't train for it as well as he should have, as hard as he should have. And then the second fight he dominated. But I really do believe he took Dominic Reyes seriously. He put in the work. And that's not to say that he couldn't come back and dominate him in a rematch, because if anybody's going to do that, wrestlers do that. When they have an idea of what you're like, what you really feel like, they can make some adjustments and change the game. But again, Dominic Reyes really put on a good performance, and at the same time, he knows what he has to improve upon if he wants to beat John Jones also. So I'm really more excited for that fight than any other fight where John Jones is concerned. And the reason I say that is because of the main event from last weekend, Corey Anderson and Jan Blachowicz. And going into this fight, this was a hot fight.
Number 5 and number 6, yeah.
What's that? And number 5 and 6, yeah.
Yep.
And I expected Corey Anderson to come out the winner. I mean, these guys fought before. Corey won the first fight. I did expect Corey Anderson to be the favorite going in. I leaned towards him fighting. Not that I'm saying I fully expected 100% that he was going to win, but I was kind of surprised at the ending. Jan Blachowicz with a beautiful right hand, of not a lazy, well, somewhat of a lazy kick, hands down, really close, led with the kick, or I mean, we didn't see if there was going to be a follow-up to that, but could have been a naked kick, but like the first thing he threw was the kick. His hands were kind of low, and he got clipped right on the chin, went down. Beautiful timing and technique by Blachowicz. Man, this light heavyweight division, it's no longer boring. There was a while where John Jones was just head and shoulders above everybody, and now it's like he's kind of just peaking over the top. I think he's still the guy, but he's peaking over the top, no more head and shoulders.
He's the guy. Like, it's tough when you look at the rankings when you see you got Thiago Santos, Anthony Smith, Cormier, Anderson, Blachowicz. I'm Dominic Reyes. I don't see a lot. Like, John did have a tough fight with Reyes, but I see John dominating everyone else. I think just the way Reyes fights is he stays moving, and John likes when guys stay still and stand in front of him, and Reyes didn't. But I think a lot of those other guys will. I don't think Anderson has the same type of movement as Reyes. There's not a lot of guys that can. Gustafsson's ranked 8th. He ain't gonna get that fight. Teixeira's ranked 9. I think for fans, I think John's just got to go up to heavyweight and bite the bullet if he wants to do something exciting. Because I don't think he's ever gonna lose at light heavyweight. To be honest, I think this is the closest.
I don't know.
This is the closest time. It's almost a 10-year run, like you mentioned. It's like a little over 9 years, I think now.
Yeah, March 2011.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'd like to see John at heavyweight because a lot of these fights don't excite me. The only I like Israel Adesanya coming up to light heavyweight. That's a fight that excites me for John Jones. just because there's good uh, story, and I think the build up will be nice. Maybe the fight itself won't be great, but I like the idea of the build up in this fight. I like the trash talk. I like when Adesanya came on the scene, everyone compared him to John Jones. So it's nice when those guys converge.
Yeah, see, I don't understand the John Jones comparison because
Neither do
they
I.
are such different fighters.
It's just
Oh,
an African American man with a skinny build that I was like, is that
well, he's not American.
what'd I say?
He's just
African,
African. He's just African.
But he's got a build. He's got a thin build. That's just a
He's
visual. It's
long,
just a
inky, like
visual It's just a visual comparison. That's
yeah, but
I
like style. I mean, I understand that in boxing and possibly even kickboxing, but style wise, they're just completely different.
no John.
Um,
When John came on the scene, John was wrestling, doing throws and spinning elbows. I don't see Adesanya doing any of that stuff. I've seen Adesanya get taken down and get up. You don't really see John Jones get taken down. I never saw the comparison, but I like the matchup.
I do like
the
the matchup. But when you talk about Israel coming in and dominating and where he stands, I feel like the guys who are the most dominant now, and John was the most dominant, and he still is pretty dominant, especially in the light heavyweight division. We just saw him challenge, so like now I'm just like, whoa, like where is he going to stand? Because I think Dominic Reyes came in at 12-0. He could stand head and shoulders above the rest of the division. Also,
Right.
we've seen him look really good inside the octagon. So I don't know. Maybe if he were to replace John Jones, he would. It's just like GSP. You know, GSP lost his first fight to Matt Hughes, and then dominated in the second. And did they fight a third time? They did fight a third time, right?
Yeah, wasn't it
I
like
don't.
really quick?
Yeah.
It was
So
like
I feel like
really quick.
that's a possibility. He could be the new bar at light heavyweight, but these guys who are dominating now, I feel like the two best guys who are dominating right now are Khabib and Israel. And look at what they're doing. They're doing what it is that their combat sport. They're using their combat sport that brought them to mixed martial arts. What brought them into the game? Israel is using his kickboxing. He's using wrestling and MMA when he needs to, but to get back to where he's comfortable and to where his strength is kickboxing. Same thing with Khabib. And I feel like this is what we've seen a lot of, let's say, wrestlers. Wrestlers don't necessarily do that. We see wrestlers go out there and, they come in with this great wrestling pedigree and they start striking and they hit somebody and knock somebody out and they're, oh shit, I can hit hard, I can box. And they want to box and they forget about their wrestling, and then they run into a guy who's a good striker, or even a much better striker than them. And they get hit a few times and they feel like, okay, I need to resort to my wrestling, but that guy's confidence has already been built, and they shut down one or two of your takedowns, and then your confidence starts to get, subtracted from, and you're just not the same guy anymore going into that fight, and that could really change the course of your career because you're coming out of that fight, you're not as confident as you went in, and that could really change things. But these guys like Israel and these guys like Khabib, they just stick to what got them to the dance, and they use whatever they can to get back to that. When Khabib's tired, he'll box a bit, but he tries to be as defensive as he can. And if he can get into a tie-up where he can chain wrestle and get you back down, he will. But we've seen him lose a round against your friend from Long Island. God, why can't I think of his name right now? Sells houses. We talked.
Mr. Al Quinta.
Yeah, Al Iaquinta, right? So we saw Al look good in a round or two against Khabib, but he has a good wrestling background and he's a big hitter. We saw Dustin look good. We saw Khabib. We saw Conor win a round against Khabib, but that was the round that Khabib didn't work his wrestling. He kind of took the round off. We haven't seen that from Israel. He had a tough fight against Kelvin Gastelum. It's a really good fight. But Gastelum is a pretty complete fighter everywhere. But he stuck to his kickboxing game, and that's what won him the fight. Like he was able to dig deep in the fifth round and going and digging deep into what his strength is. Like that well goes so deep, and he's willing to go all the way down there.
I'm just over here looking at the rankings. It's hard for my brain to wrap around any of these guys beating John. I, I, I don't see it.
I really don't either, except Dominic Reyes.
Correct,
But
and I wonder if he'll get that
would that
fight.
be-
And I wonder like how would Dominic Reyes do against like
That's my question.
there's some other is he gonna get pushed down away from the title by the other guys? Maybe his style matchup's really good with John Jones, just because he hits hard, he can get up, but what if he fights a guy like Thiago Santos? What if he
Yeah, how
fights
does that go?
what about an Anthony Smith matchup? What about like those? These are guys that are all ranked 2, 3, and 4 that haven't matched up with each other. They haven't.
That's what I'm saying
So
about the bar.
yeah, because Dominic Reyes could have that one great performance, lose a close decision, and we never see him fight for a title again. Like it can just happen.
We've seen that happen in boxing. We've seen that happen in MMA.
You can sometimes only get one shot. Especially against John Jones, the first shot is the best shot against him. He has too much information the next time, and he'll make too many adjustments. But I don't know if Reyes beats Santos, beats Smith, Blachowicz. It's those are really tough fights.
I think he beats those guys. I think Anthony Smith is a tough fight for Reyes.
Yeah, they match up well against each other, I think.
But I think he beats the other guys.
Because when I look at who Dominic Reyes beat to get here, he beat Weidman, beat Uzdemir, beat Oven St. Preux, Cannonier. He made it to the title without having to fight a Cormier, a Blachowicz, a Gustafsson, a Teixeira, a Santos, a Smith. So all guys ranked top 10. He did not have to fight any of them. He only fought one top 10 ranked guy, it looks like. Uzdemir is the only guy he's fought in the top 10. So he for me, he has some fights to do. There's other fights to make for me. I like him versus Thiago Santos, to be honest.
How many fights do you think he needs to fight to get to his rematch with John Jones and win?
If he goes out and knocks out Thiago Santos and Anthony Smith, I think 1. Likely 2 though.
I would be fine with 1.
I'm fine with 1 just because it was such a close decision. I'm not against it at all.
And I'm actually fine with an immediate rematch.
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with it too. Just because
I'm not excited about any of the other fights at light heavyweight for John Jones. I think.
Yeah, I don't see any on this list that make any sense. Blachowicz, I think, earned it. If Reyes got it, I think Blachowicz gets it. But doesn't get me super excited because then when I look at heavyweight division, there's a lot of fights that excite me for John Jones. There's 4 fights right out the gate that excite me.
And which 4 of those?
Stipe, Ngannou, Blades, and probably Dos Santos and Junior Dos Santos. I like all those fights.
Don't like the Ngannou fight for John.
I don't like it for him. I like it as a fan. I like it as John Jones and Ngannou. Oh crap! I was like, John can't mess up at all.
It's like Captain America versus the Hulk.
It's a good one. See, immediately I just get excited even if I go further down. Even Alistair Overeem, Derek Lewis. They get me more excited than what I see in the light heavyweight division right now. I was excited about Johnny Walker until he fought Corey Anderson.
I was never excited about Johnny Walker. That guy gets on my nerves.
I went to. He knocked someone out. One of the fights we were at. I think when Mickey fought.
Yes, it was in Vegas.
Yeah, when Mickey fought Diego, and I sat behind his family, and I was like, don't get angry. But they must I know you're excited that your husband or whatever knocked the guy out. As soon as he knocked it out in the undercard.
Yes.
The entire night, they're just watching the same video. Oh, they're watching his fight on the phone over and over and over, and they were taking a million freaking selfies with me in the background. and I was getting really frustrated that like every picture I was fucking, or like I was just grilling the camera. I was I'm gonna ruin every one of these photos. I was like,
They're gonna find you.
they might, they might.
You go down to Brazil, they're gonna get you.
Nobody watches this show. Uh, no, nobody watches this show. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what's next for John Jones. My my main takeaway from that fight card, that was it was all right night of fights. I didn't think the UFC really stacked their card that night. They didn't.
Yeah.
They,
I don't think that. Stacked.
I think I
Wait.
think this weekend's card was pretty good.
I did not. You know what? The card wasn't stacked. The John Jones card wasn't stacked, but the fights were really good. I did enjoy the fights on that card. I also
they were
enjoyed
fine.
the Valentina Shevchenko fight.
She's
Caitlin
she's
Chukagian went to that fight, thinking that she was going to be able to control the range, and that was like, no, man. Like I've said this to a lot of people beforehand. Like this woman is 17-time Muay Thai world champion. She's fought people that are longer than her, taller than her, and she's not. You're not going to be able to control the range. She's the bar. Like John has been the bar, like Jose Aldo was, Matt Hughes was. Like she's the bar at 125, and she, for all the women who aren't going to go down the history books for anything other than losing to her, like they are contributing to the elevation of the women's game, especially at 125 pounds, because like they're aiming to get better than Valentina. And a couple of years down the road, somebody's going to get there or get close, and that will change the game for the women. But she's light years ahead of them right now.
She is. There's not a lot of like. The only person I think that even has a style that can compete with her is Tatiana Suarez, but that she's a weight division below.
Yep.
You have to have elite wrestling. There's not a lot of elite wrestlers in the game. It's just a fact. We just
For her skill set, you definitely need elite wrestling because she can do everything. She can even wrestle well.
She can. That's why you have to be even really good at wrestling. It's like, so for me, I'm like, Tatiana Suarez is the girl. She fights at 115, but that's the only style I think that works. Someone that can put you on your butt and just embrace the grind and just try to watch that time off that clock go down. Just keep putting her in her bad positions. Keep her on her ass.
Just so hard to do for 25 minutes. Also, there's only one guy that we've really seen be able to do that.
George St. Pierre.
Well, like the guys that he was wrestling, I really would like to see George St. Pierre versus Khabib because GSP was able to take guys down and control them. But I think getting back to your feet, escaping bottom has changed.
Yeah.
And not to take anything away from him, but I don't necessarily know if he could do that to the guys of this era. The elite guys of this era.
Possibly not. Possibly not. Who do I like? You ever seen Helen Maroulis wrestle?
No.
She won the Olympic. She won a gold medal for America in the Olympics. I would like to see her transition into mixed martial arts. Yeah, it's just that's one game plan to beat Shevchenko.
That's really the only game plan that I could think of that exists. I can't see anybody outstriking her right now.
No, the only you have Joanna. She's just too small. I think she's too small.
Yeah, but I mean, she's too small. They fought a couple of times in Muay Thai, and Valentina has all the wins.
Yep.
Joanna is elite. She was the bar at 115. We saw that, and then we saw the same thing where she's concerned, where she gets beat, and then the belt just changes hands. But she may have the answer for the champion out of China right now. But I could be wrong, and the Chinese champion might be too much for her. She's but to see her get another shot, that I'm looking forward to, because that tells me where she is in the whole scheme of that division now.
Well, I think it's also good for Weili Zhang too, to get a fight that people are like awake for. I think it's
yeah, she does need a fight, and in an American time slot.
Like she has fought a couple times, but let me see where is she at.
There,
Twice.
there was an undercard.
Yeah, she fought Tisha Torres at UFC 235, and then Danielle Taylor at 227. But
I remember the Tisha fight.
when she won her title, it was like 5 a.m. my time. It was happening in Shenzhen, China. And,
Yeah, I don't wake up at 8
and it was
a.m.
only
on
40. It
Sunday.
was 40 seconds. You don't get too much, and so I think it's good for her if she can beat Joanna. That's gonna cement her spot as, oh wow, that's you beat Joanna. That's the bar. Beating Andrade was big, but not many people saw it. I feel like it was a blip. I feel like the UFC has a champion that most people don't know.
Yeah, for sure. But it's weird because these belts, they have this elite status to them for a while, but it really is around the person. I mean, Chris Weidman, after beating Anderson Silva, there was a lot of hype on Chris
Yep.
right after he beat Anderson, but like that didn't really last. Of course, he didn't win. He didn't defend the title for very long. Same thing with Rockhold. It was nice to have a new champion, but like they haven't, even getting into the title shot, they haven't really started the buzz like Israel Adesanya did, or I think that's
Yeah, prior to the belt,
that's
you gotta
when
build that buzz.
yeah, exactly.
Yep. Like
Yeah,
or
he
like
did. That's
or
what it
like
is. You have the buzz before the belt.
Nico Montana.
Yeah, like that. She's probably going to be the least remembered UFC champion.
Oh, I saw some videos calling her the worst UFC champion in history.
I think there are three titles.
She's only won
that people
one fight,
forget.
I think, in the UFC. I think so far.
Really?
I think
Just-
and then she got injured. And she was supposed to fight this yesterday's card, and then got injured and had to pull out.
Hmm.
Yeah, she had a meniscus tear. I'm like, you better take that leg up and get in that freaking cage. I was like, they're the UFC mafia people. They don't want to see you keep canceling fights. They'll have no problems giving you your walking papers if you keep doing that. If you can't get into the cage, and like she sat on that belt for like a year and a half without fighting.
Yeah, and that is disgusting in and of itself.
Yeah, you just gotta
But
give it up if that's the case.
yeah. But like, why they wait so long? I mean, they've done interim titles for somebody like having a head cold.
Well, it was tough because they just established a division like with that fight and that TV show for her to like not defend the title. It's like that definitely derailed the UFC plans. Now they got a legit UFC champion, and Montano can't compete with Shevchenko.
No, I think there are three title holders, three champions who really won't be remembered for their titles, and that is Nico Montana, Jermaine Durandamy. Like, I don't think people are going to really remember that she held 45 pound title.
She barely held it. It was,
Yeah,
in her hands for a
and
second.
then, oh God, Carla Esparza. People are going to forget that she was the world champion until they look at her resume.
Well, the thing I like about at least Carla, she's still top. She's like, what's she ranked, like 7th or 8th still? She's still relevant.
No, Carla Esparza can fight.
Yeah, she's.
And I remember, I remember her style. I didn't like her style when she won the title. For a
she's
couple
ranked
fights
7th.
after she lost it,
Yep.
she was just very boring, and changed over the last year and a half, 2 years. I would say she's gotten a bit more aggressive, a little more confident in her striking. I don't know if she's going to be able to make another title run, but I do like seeing somebody who's been at the top and then still trying to improve. Being at the top of the mountain, getting knocked off, that's a lot to make you just stay here and I'll live right here. But like, nah, she's trying to improve and climb back up. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, but Durandamy, no one's gonna. She's got to win another belt. it's not gonna. she got.
If people remember, they're only going to remember her for
the new one.
Cyborg.
Yeah, that's tough. It's
And I feel that was Nico Montana. I feel like she saw that Shevchenko. She saw Shevchenko and Juliana Pena. Then when she came down, Shevchenko fought one fight at 125. I don't remember against who, but she looked really dominant. She looked very different than she looked at 135.
Yep.
Because she wasn't the small woman anymore. She was the right size for the weight class, and she looked scary. If I was a 125-pound woman, she would scare me.
UFC has no fucks given. I'm over on their website. I'm on their rankings right now.
Let's take a look.
They they have no UFC featherweight rankings. Just a champion. They don't even.
Women's featherweight or any featherweight?
Women's featherweight. They just have Amanda Nunes as a champion and nothing below it. No 1 through 10. No nothing. They don't even acknowledge.
I think they've had 10 women fight in that weight class.
I think it could get phased out. I think if Amanda Nunes retires, you don't have a women's featherweight division anymore.
I think if she just decides to keep fighting at 135, you don't have because
exactly. If they pull that belt from her, they'll just say, "Hey, we're pulling the belt, we're moving that division and men's flyweight." Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yes, yeah. Well, that's what happens because you have Cejudo doing the same thing at flyweight and bantamweight. There's a positive side to someone holding two belts, but also they can kill a whole division. And I see that Amanda Nunes can kill the whole women's featherweight division. If she stayed out of there and avoided all super fights, a division could build there. A division could build there without her. But with her there is not going to be a division to build there. The era of super fights makes the women's featherweight division get killed, and likely the men's flyweight division is in a real struggling place right now.
See, that's the thing. I feel like they're in opposite sides of the coin in the sense of Henry Cejudo fighting at 125 versus 135.
Well, that was his actual weight class, then he went up. Yeah.
Right. So, he had a problem making 125 quite a bit.
Right.
But fighting at 135 is a little more comfort. The guys aren't that much bigger. Henry Cejudo, I don't feel like I've seen anybody really outsize him at 135.
No, he's great. He's
taller
great
and longer,
size.
but they're not.
No.
Yeah, they're not as thick. And then, but for Amanda, 135, there's not a whole lot of women at 145.
No, there's not.
So, having to make the cut to 135, having to lose the extra 10 pounds may suck, but this is where you're going to get your competition. This is where you're going to make your dollars and your name, because for the most part, the women at 145, they just aren't that good. There are some exceptions to every rule. So there are some really good women. What is the Australian girl's name? Megan something? From Invicta? 145 pounds?
Yeah. I know you're talking about. She's Megan Anderson?
Megan Anderson, right. Yeah. She's at 145 pounds. She's tough, but like you said, the UFC has Amanda listed as a champion, but they don't even have the rankings in that weight class. I don't believe they've had 10 women fight in that weight class.
Well, it's messed up because on both sides, on women's featherweight and men's flyweight, you can't even let's say you're someone that fights at 145 for women, you can't even tell your friends you're ranked top 10. They don't even have it it doesn't even you're not even letting the person build up their social or their clout or any of that. They're not even putting that out there. And on the other side, Henry Cejudo not fighting for a while, holding up the flyweight division. Joseph Benavidez ain't getting older. Dude never won a title. You could be stopping history right there for the Benavidez family by not letting that guy ever win a title because you put a division on hold. So it's because when was the last time Henry Cejudo fought?
Against TJ. When was that? Summer?
It was a while ago.
Last spring?
He fought Marlon Moraes June for the bantamweight title.
Yeah.
But what's his date? In 2 days, it becomes a year since he fought
at flyweight.
Flyweight, yeah. So it'll be 1 year since he fought at flyweight. And
yeah, I said TJ. I meant DJ.
DJ. Yeah, he fought DJ in 2018. In August 2018. So He's only fought twice at that weight class in a year and a half. I don't think it's fair for a guy like Joseph Benavidez and Formiga and those guys. I think the UFC has to say 2 days from now there should be a thing that goes out and says they're putting an interim title. And
Yeah, a year is long enough. A year is long enough, especially without injury. A year is long enough.
yeah, so
I think it's time to move on.
because it says on December 19th, it was announced that Cejudo will officially relinquish the UFC title. It doesn't say when, and it'll focus on bantamweight division, but it hasn't happened yet. Maybe there's going to be a fight announcement of likely either Formiga Benavidez or Figueiredo against Benavidez, but yeah, the UFC needs these type of it's great for Benavidez to maybe get a title. I'm not even a huge Benavidez fan, but I think anyone that is, he deserves it. He's been in the mix since when? See, when did he fight? He fought in 2010 for the WEC bantamweight title. He was part of the tournament in 2012. He's on a 3-fight win streak right now. Has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 of his last 10 with a split decision loss to Sergio Pettis. I'm like, that's a champion's run right there. But champion without a belt, it happens.
Yeah, it happens sometimes to people who are champions. But what do you do? But let's move on to next weekend, man. There's a big fight in the combat world coming up.
Well, there's one more fight I want to talk. I don't know if you got to see it. It was a real quick one. Do you follow the Pride of Victorville, Ryan Garcia?
I know Ryan Garcia. I know of Ryan Garcia. I have not.
What was that? Sorry, you broke up for a second there.
I do know Ryan Garcia, but I knew Ryan Garcia from you. I have not seen him fight since we sat down and watched a couple of his.
So he fought this weekend in Anaheim. Fought the dude Francisco Fonseca. I think Fonseca only had like 1 or 2 losses ever. He made real quick work. I say knockout of the year. Knockout of the year in combat sports. This short check hook, not so beautiful. I think the dude he's becoming a superstar as we speak, and I think he's the next boxing superstar. 20-0, 18 knockouts. Really good looking kid. Yeah.
I saw a tweet by I forget. Oh gosh, I forget who it was. Young boxer, and I haven't been following boxing as hard as I follow MMA, but he's managed by Mayweather and De La Hoya. Is De La Hoya managing Ryan Garcia?
Not managing him. He fights under Golden Boy Promotions under DAZN. No, you probably think of Devin Haney.
Was it Haney? No, I don't think it was Devin Haney. But anyway, I would like to see Ryan Garcia in a match against somebody else who's also undefeated.
Yeah, the fight really to make is him going against. For me, I think Devin Haney is the right match because there's a great backstory too. Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney fought 6 times in the amateurs, and they went 3-3 against each other. And now Devin Haney is the undefeated champion. Ryan Garcia is up and coming undefeated. I'm like, let's get that seventh game. Let's get that let's break that tie. Let's break that tie.
Run it back again.
And I'm like, that's a nice little backstory. There's probably some footage of that. They fought for big championships against each other.
That would be a great fight. Because Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, they really don't have that huge name yet.
Right.
They're building their name, and it's great. But
I think Haney needs the Garcia fight to help his name, and Garcia needs the Haney belt. He needs an actual world championship. So I think whoever wins that fight, it scratches that other person's back really well, and you take that clout and you walk with it. But
Yeah, I think that'd be like in a fantasy world. That's a great co-main event to to the heavyweight title fight next weekend.
that's the way it should be. That's what.
Yeah,
And the heavyweight title fight next week is gonna be big. To get you got we got the two final like undefeated. You have world champion
heavyweights.
exactly. Talking about Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder too.
I'm really um I'm rooting for Deontay Wilder again. First fight was really good. I don't understand how Tyson Fury got up from that knockdown in the 12th. I really think that was a Gypsy King move. I mean, he was unconscious. You see the referee count him out at about 3. His head tries to get up and his body's just shut down. And then at about 8, he just pops up like a zombie. So, like, this is going to be a great fight. If I feel the thing that Fury, that Deontay Wilder had to improve upon was his jab. You know, setting up his shots, getting to the inside, working his way in on Tyson Fury. Fury is the better boxer technically, but Wilder has so much power, you got to be so careful.
Yep.
If he can find a way to just be more consistent, maybe set somebody up, like get Fury to plant his feet a little bit, he has a much better shot. I think he knows what he needs to do, and there's much more improvement that he can make than Fury. I think Fury has to fight a very similar fight, and
Just can't get hit with,
I'm with Wilder in this one.
He can't get hit with those two shots.
Yeah,
Those two punches. That was Fury's fight to win.
36 minutes is a long time to not get hit.
Yeah, I wonder if we're gonna see. I guess I'll Anthony Ruiz, Andrew Ruiz, Joshua fight. If you saw the difference in body build in Joshua in the first fight and the second fight, I wonder if we're gonna see similarities in Deontay Wilder. If he's gonna be a bit leaner, because the first Joshua Ruiz fight, he was too bulky and thick and couldn't box well. I wonder if Wilder knows he's going to have to play a more boxing game, because they weren't throwing a lot of punches. I was at that fight. It was some rounds with 10 punches, 11 punches thrown. I'm like, this is real tactical move, a lot of movement. Fury covers a lot of range, covers a lot of distance every step he takes. They both do. They're both long guys, so it's hard to get to each other. I wonder. I have Fury. Fury's my dude. I thought he won that fight, but it's I
thought Wilder won.
I like
12
when
he knocked him down, but then he got up.
he got up. Yeah, I thought it was yeah, Wilder should have won because of a knockout. I thought the decision was clearly in Fury's. I rewatched it and I still had it like 8-4, and I'm like, he should still probably win by 2 points. But that's why we fight again. Both guys undefeated. To me, they're both champions. Tyson Fury's the last ring champion. He got stripped, but Tyson Fury's never lost. He got stripped for inactivity, but to me, he is the lineal world champion.
How do you think Wilder would do? I think Mike Tyson knows boxing very well. I don't know how he communicates his knowledge about the fight itself to a younger guy.
Yep.
But if he can, how do you think Wilder does moving forward? But again, especially against Fury, with Tyson in his corner or Tyson in his camp, just helping him with learning how to land that power.
I don't know how much it really helps a guy with that build.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can like physics the way like Tyson used to generate power, and to me Wilder has the longest arms, and I don't know if he's gonna like stay tight. Like he never stays tight when he throws punches. He's I wouldn't if I was showing someone technique for boxing, I would not start with a Deontay Wilder video. Just not how I'm gonna lead out. Some of those punches he's throwing, I'm like, I see those on World Star. I was like, those are made up punches. Those are you're hitting with all weird parts of your hand and stuff. You're like
Effective one is the one that
hitting
lands.
with the inside of the wrist or something. Sometimes when he punches it, his like hand is like open. And I was like, if he just tightened it, maybe that's what Tyson works on. Stay tighter,
Tighter, more technical.
wilder and tighter.
Tyson was so technical. The only guy I think who was more technical in that time was Evander.
Yep. As far as heavyweights,
I like that fight. I mean, I like that fight, and I like the thought of Mike Tyson improving Deontay Wilder's game. But I do agree. I don't know why. It never really occurred to me. 5'9", 5'10" versus Tyson's 5'8", 5'10", something like that.
5'8", 5'10",
Versus like 6 something.
Yeah. It's I think it's just cool to have Tyson around. I don't know how much he's really gonna have. I don't know. It's a nice novelty. It's nice to. It just gets you pumped when you're hitting the bag and Tyson's over there slinging weed and selling drugs at your gym. So
Trying to make everybody relax.
trying to. Oh yeah, I got some weed. Come, we can hang out with that. I don't know, man.
It's all good.
No, it's
So what are you excited about, Squid? Other than fighting, outside of the fight world.
That's it.
That's it. Just fighting.
Outside the fight world, I have been watching a lot of this Houston Astros scandal. That kind of excites me a little bit, because I hate cheaters. So I hope they get scolded and banned forever.
How can you ban a professional baseball team though? We're gonna ban them from the playoffs,
Maybe
from the league.
Maybe a year, yeah, I don't know, something like
Stadium.
that. So, 1 year out, I don't know.
Really, that can be done. Is there a precedent for that?
No, but MLB has never been consistent with their precedents. They've you've banned. There's like 3 or 4 guys that have gotten banned.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose is the major one. Pete Rose is the one that shows all inconsistencies about Major League Baseball and how kind of corrupt I think it is. Because Pete Rose had over 4,000 hits, and you ban the guy for betting. I'm like, he had hit over 4,000 hits. There's other guys that have gotten in that are nowhere near the baseball player, Pete Rose. Like I don't think anyone's ever get 4,000 hits. Yeah, there's guys like Ichiro that could have maybe got if they played in America earlier in their careers, but like let the guy in. You give a small suspension, a little money out of the Astros. It just seems real wacky. Seems real wacky. And now, what I like, all these pitchers are saying they're gonna throw at the Astros, gonna beat them. Like there's gonna be a lot of beating. And Dusty Baker's the new coach, and he's trying to like not have them get beaned. I was like, they're gonna get beaned. They cheated, and there's
Lots of fights.
And there's some good there's some great theories that this last season they had a little device that they were wearing under their jersey. Apparently in 2017 they were hitting a trash can.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were hitting a trash can every time it was a curveball or a ball with a break in it. And 2019 it was nothing, but they started to notice like these little pictures with something in there. And then when Altuve hit that walk-off home run, his team tried to rip off his jersey, and he would not let them. He was fighting to like keep. He's like, no. He's like,
oh, okay, yeah. That's. See, I don't follow baseball, but like if you
just hit a walk-off home run, your teammate wants to rip off your jersey, rip it all off. Who cares? We just won. Why? He's like holding on to it.
I feel you, but I honestly I thought that the scandal and the controversy was around the coaching and the staff and having cameras and watching different things from not even on the field necessarily, from up in the box.
So the controversy was there was a camera, and then there was a guy downstairs that would hit a trash can. People have pulled all the doom doom doom. You hear it right before the pitch goes out, and that lets you know it's going to be a curveball. So So if you're locked onto the guy's movement, you can either swing at it or not. Or just wait for the fastball. Wait till it's the proper count. That's a huge advantage because if someone's throwing something 90 mile per hour and all of a sudden one comes out like 70 and you don't know, you're gonna be off balance when you try to swing. If you know it's coming, you're not off balance. You can if you like curveballs, just wait for it. If you don't like curveballs, let it go by. So that's a real big cheating, and people on the internet have pulled a lot of the footage, and you hear the banging. There's also pitchers that are like, some pitchers were like, there's a bunch of people that reported the sign stealing that year. They're like, I think they're somehow stealing our signs. Like every time they know.
If you're wearing a camera in your jersey and you like that's
no, it's not a camera, it's a sensor.
You know that.
It's a sensor. It would just instead of the boom boom boom, it like buzzed you. It was like a buzzer.
Oh,
so you'd feel. So you'd feel, So
but dumb. But that's the thing. Like you're cheating. Like that's a problem.
That's a huge problem. That's why I'm like no players have like said very much about this. I was like, who's gonna be the guy to like I can't wait till like the OJ did it book or someone breaks, someone just like writes down exactly how, someone's like, fuck it, I don't care, I'm gonna tell it all. I got pictures, I got videos, I was saving it all because that's juicy shit. There's got to be someone that has someone.
It's gonna be a 30 for 30 for sure.
Oh, it's so good. So besides that, I'm just excited about life and such. Yeah.
I gotcha. I'm gonna take you back to fighting one more time. One question: how do you feel about the stoppage in the Diego Sanchez fight?
That was one thing I wanted to talk about. It's tough. I was trying to like read a little bit more about the rules of like how he was positioned on like 1 foot and 1 knee. The way he went down. I think he milked it. I think he knew he was gonna that guy was gonna knee his head right off. I think he took a free win. He knew the rules.
So did the other guy. That's my situation. I'm like,
but it happens like so. I get it. It did happen. It happened pretty quick. Because the way Diego was first positioned when he dropped, he could have been in a catcher's position. It's hard to tell from the way he was kneeing. You have to assume that the person's down though on their knees. Because right before we started this, I was looking at every angle of that knee, where Diego's like on knee but on a foot type of thing, and his hands are not on the ground. I was like, how does the whole point like once your knee is down, that considers down opponent, right? That's the right?
Yep. Once it's not the soles of your feet. The problem, my issue is I feel that Diego. The way I see it, I'm looking at that and I'm like, Diego's like, man, you're controlling this fight. Yeah, I'm fighting hard and I'm looking for a way to win, but you're controlling. You're bigger than me. You're stronger than me. You're kind of manhandling me, and you can't follow the rules. Like that's kind of that's how I felt about it.
That's
I'm
the
like,
same guy that did all the backflips and stuff off the. That's that same dude, right?
like you just have no discipline.
Yeah.
Like you don't have the discipline that it takes to not break the rules.
Yep.
You know, like you're more interested in how you look than the honor that's supposed to be within this sport.
Sure.
And I don't feel like I don't look at Diego any differently for taking the win that way.
No.
Not at all.
No,
and I feel like it's honestly like as nuts and as wild as out there as Diego is, I feel like this was a learn your lesson, young man kind of time. You know, even for Diego, I think that there was some of that to him.
Yeah,
all right, I'm done. I'm taking the W.
He could have backed up and just probably finished Diego. Like Diego was crumbling. Instead of throwing the other knee, back up, do it again. Yeah, not good discipline. I don't like see fights end that way, but we've seen way worse. Have you seen Renzo Gracie's actor winning a performance against Frank Shamrock back in the day? And
I'm sure I saw the fight, but I don't remember it. Was it Strikeforce?
It was in Elite XC, I think. I think it might have been.
Okay.
Frank somehow knees Renzo in the back of the head from bottom.
Yeah, from side control. That's right.
Yeah. Then Renzo's like, "Oh my God, oh, it was like great. I was like, what the hell is don't play it like that. Like, oh my God. I was like, and I love Henzo, but I'm like,
Same here.
acting ain't your shit. Fighting, I love Henzo fighting, but acting, real suspect.
It's kind of like Kenshin
Real
against Mayweather.
Oh yeah, similar. Mayweather would have done that anyway.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have gotten up and then flown across the ring.
Have you ever been punched by Mayweather? He does that.
It's crazy. But yeah, let's So we have the Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder coming up next weekend. What MMA? What's going on with the UFC next weekend? Anything?
Yep. So next weekend, UFC has UFC Fight Night. I think it's 163. Oh, no, 168. I want to say. Let me see. I think it's 168. Yes.
Oh yeah,
So
that's right.
They got
Paul
Felder,
and
Hooker, and then
Hooker.
Then a fight card where I cannot name. Or I don't know. It's a rare one. But yep, I only know one person in the fights. I don't know. There's no fights where I know both, besides the main event.
We got to get.
We got Jimmy Crude against Mikhail Oleksiuk. I don't know who that is. Carolina Kowalczyk. I forgot how to say her last name. Kowalkiewicz against Jan Zhaunan.
You remember Kowalkiewicz?
Yeah. She's good. I like her. I'm just not good at saying her name. But Ben Sososi against Marcos Rogerio de Lima. No clue. Brad Riddle against Magomed Mustafayev. Nope. Kevin Aguilar against Zubaida Tuhugov. Nope. Jalen Turner, who I like, against Joshua Kalubau. Nope. Jake Matthews against Emil Meek. Okay, I know both those guys.
Those guys.
Callan Potter against Keenan Song. Nope. Kai Kara France against Tyson Nam. Nope. It's a hard, I don't know any of these people. And I follow the sport so closely. It's like really.
It could be some good fights though.
I'm gonna watch it, but it's just I'm gonna watch like people that walk into a sports bar that don't know UFC and just watch. I'm just watching the fights because I'm watching because I like fighting. But
you
I don't
know the sport. Here's the other part to that though. There's so many guys on the roster in the middle of my career, in like 2000, let's say 2003, in the UFC. So it's early in my career.
Yep.
There were what, maybe 100 guys on the roster, maybe,
Yep.
Now there's like
700, 800. I don't know.
Yeah. So like I sometimes I'll watch guys and I have no idea who they are, and or I'll see a name that I don't recognize or whatever, but I've even seen this guy fight before,
Yep.
I get on my Fight Pass account and I watch some fights sometimes. I go back and look. Oh shoot, I saw this fight before, and I didn't even know it was the guy that who's coming up. So there's just a whole lot of guys out there, a whole lot more depth to the sport, and I don't know. I like watching some of these guys I don't know. Sometimes they surprise you.
Yeah, I like that because then I don't go in with any premeditated anything. I can go, okay, this guy's got this build. Maybe he's going to do this. I don't really know everything. When I know stuff about guys, I think it changes my perspective. Also, Bellator's got a fight this weekend. Nothing too crazy. Gertz against Jury. I think they got 2 fights this week. They got one from Dublin on the 22nd as well. Yep. I think it's on the Bellator app and DAZN and Paramount Network. The same with Bellator is even harder. I don't know all these guys. I'm trying to, but
I dig it.
It's hard. I need like cue cards or something, like practice cards.
I feel you.
It's saturated. We're in a saturated time. There's no real way to change the saturation. It's good for the fighters. I don't know how good it is for the fans sometimes, but
well, let's see. Later on this week, let's break down some of those fights and see how right we are next week.
I'm gonna be so wrong.
I'm gonna be right as fuck, right as rain,
Yeah, just
right as rain.
just choose the opposite of what I choose, and you'll probably be all right.
I'm a winner.
Uh,
So
and that's
let's
really
get
it.
it.
That's really it in the
Um,
fight world. Yeah, that's.
that's it. Let's do it up again in a couple days, and bring back the Thug Jitsu Master and Squid to your internet channel TV. Same Thug Jitsu time, same Squid channel.
The Jitsu Master and the Squid.
The Jitsu Master and the Squid.
The Jitsu